On this episode of Key Talks, Lloyd McKenzie shares stories of 16 years with Young Master Club Taekwondo and how the community of the dojang can build confidence, connection, and life skills for the whole family. Stay tuned. It's time for Key Talks. Welcome to Key Talks podcast, a project of Key Creative. If you've never heard of us, well, welcome to our podcast and our website, qicreative.com. That's keycreative.com, where you can find out more and fill out an intake form for services. And with us today, we have Mike Schwake on the board there, Paula Audrey Rivero, and John Rivero.
Hello.
And I'm so excited for this episode today because this is a longtime collaborator, friend, change maker of John and Paula's, particularly with Young Master Club Taekwondo, which is part of our Adventure Club branch of programming. And feel free to follow up on what YMC is.
Yes. We'll talk more about what the Young Master Club is for sure. So we have Lloyd McKenzie joining us today. We're not going to get into the facts yet until he comes out here because we're going to talk about that with him. But we're sure grateful and honored that he's joining us to share about his journey with Key Creative, the Young Master Club program. And actually his son, Aiden, was on the fourth episode? On one of the first episodes of Key Talks.
Yes,
so he was a guest with Jack, and they were talking about the Key internship program that Mike leads. And so now we had his Lloyd's son, and now we get to have Lloyd share a little bit more about his journey and partnership with us. So perhaps without further ado, let's welcome out Lloyd!
Awesome.
All
Welcome.
right.
Thank
Yay, Lloyd. We didn't have to do too much convincing, which I appreciated. Lloyd was definitely willing to be one of our guests, and thank you for coming out, because when we were thinking about different people that we wanted to have on the podcast, you were one of the top people that came into my mind. And I think because, there's many reasons, but I think one of the top ones is just the longevity of the relationship that we've built together. And we were talking a little bit before we started about when did that relationship start? And you shared that you had to dig back into your files.
Yeah, if it's not an email, it doesn't exist.
Yes.
So we heard about Key Creative from Wolfgang Otto back when we knew him as he was our FSCD contact for Aiden.
Okay.
And so that was August of 2009. He gave us a list of things that Aiden might be possibly interested in.
Yes.
And Taekwondo caught our eye as that might be good for him and be useful. And program wasn't starting until January, so it would have been January 2010 that I first brought Aiden. Came along with my laptop, sat on the gym floor, and
what did you think?
Well, I thought it was an hour that Aiden was going to do something, and I was going to get some work done.
And what ended up happening? Tell us what ended up happening.
And to your pleasant surprise,
I got pulled into the class. And I had actually done one session of martial arts when I was in 12 or something.
Okay.
Basically, my parents were looking for something for me. And I hated it.
Wow.
And so the prospect of getting pulled in wasn't necessarily at the top of my list. But I mean, it was there for Aiden. And I found myself rather tired at the end of that first session. But yeah, That's what it started as. And
So
so thank you for making me do
Who,
that.
so who pulled you in?
You.
Oh, it was me.
Of
definitely
course.
Okay.
Of course. Okay, parents, you think you're going to sit here and do work? Think again. You're all putting on uniforms.
Oh no, you're gonna do work. It's
You're
just a
gonna
different
do
kind of
just
work.
a
Exactly.
different kind of work. So when you're saying there's so many ways we can go with this, but I have to start with the space because we have ran the Young Masters Club, which is a Taekwondo program for people of all abilities. And actually, we'll ask that question to you, John, where it started. But in many locations,
Mhm.
we have been in the Key Creative headquarters here. Before it was the Key Creative headquarters. We've run out of gyms, several different gyms. It started where, John?
It started at the Center for Autism Services Alberta,
Yes.
then known as Family Linkages Foundation of Alberta,
Yes.
in the boardroom.
In the
And then
boardroom.
I had 2 locations. This is how popular it was. And another location with my good friend, Master Derek Sadler's space in Castle Downs area, Precision Martial Arts, and was running it with Luke Nielsen, one of my first instructors, I got my 3rd Dan with him. He's an adult living with autism. So that was 2005. So we're now in our 21st year.
Wow. Round of applause for that.
Yes.
Truly, truly. I remember, you know what? I forgot that we used to go to Master Sadler's Precision Martial Arts Gym, as well as the Center for Autism's location, different nights facilitating and running this program that you created. And then we ended up at this gym, and it wasn't too far from here, actually. What was that gym?
There was two locations of
Okay.
gyms. So Macaulay School, we did
Yes.
1 year,
Okay.
and then 1 year we did it somewhere just off Jasper
Yes.
Avenue and
That's the one I think you were at,
82nd.
Lloyd.
I don't remember.
I
Yeah.
remember. I remember
It was
so
a long drive
vividly.
from St. Albert. Is all I remember.
I have told this story before, Lloyd, but I remember that 2010 season vividly. And I told this to Aiden when he was a guest on our podcast, our first year that we were doing them. But I remember you and Aiden coming in, and for whatever reason, I really gravitated to Aiden and yourself. And I was able to help Aiden and you learn some of those very first patterns. And Aiden was the one who got my creativity really going on how can we adapt and help make learning fun and a little bit more easy and simple for anyone. And I put a sticker on Aiden's foot so he'd know which foot to put forward. And I did that for that session, and it worked like magic. And I thought I was the most brilliant Taekwondo instructor. But Aiden had the brilliance too, that he was able to then follow along. But then the brilliance of your family really came out. So you and Aiden were the first participants of the Young Masters Club, but you're a father of 4 boys.
Indeed.
Indeed you are, and you have a beautiful wife, Vicky. So you and Aiden started, and then what happened?
So when we started, Samuel would have been almost 3.
He's the next oldest.
the
So
next
how old was
oldest.
Aiden?
So Aiden would have been 11.
Okay, Aiden was 11.
And then we took a break after Aiden. Elijah was sitting on the side, and then he came in and
You two had your hands full. And
had.
Have. Yeah, like, come on here, catch up.
You have.
My
Present.
apologies.
You're not out of the
you're
woods
not-
yet.
Exactly.
You're still in
It
it.
never ends.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Never
I love
ends.
that. You have your hands full, but I know as a parent of 2 young ones who are 7 and 5, like that is a handful, and you guys would bring them in, and maybe Samuel and Jonah weren't participating yet, but I remember them coming in and out, and you guys juggling, getting Aiden there, getting the boys on the side, not disrupting the classes, and then eventually, yes, Samuel had joined. and Jonah had joined. So it wasn't just Aiden and
Mhm.
Lloyd anymore. It was also the two boys. And I think at that point, I think Vicky, I know trying to raise three boys and have the household. She ended up on that floor as well
Mhm.
in a uniform. And that was so impressive for sure.
I want to get back to the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
time. So
That's
Yep.
what yeah.
so you had tears in your eyes when you were describing, going back, being younger and trying a martial arts class,
Mhm.
and you didn't like it,
Yep.
and then you mentioned that I wrapped you in.
Yep.
So tell me about the second class. Did I wrap you in again, or what happened?
How did it progress?
I mean, at that point, I just understood that that was the expectation, is that this was not a go sit on the side while your kid does something. This was a parent comes and does something with their child, and okay, I guess I'm in it now. Um,
Were you annoyed? Were you like, this isn't what I expected?
um, I mean, the first time I think I was a bit annoyed because I had work that I had hoped to get done. Um, but after that, it was, I mean, I was there for Aiden, and
Yes.
it was important for it to be successful for him and for him to
Yeah.
enjoy it. So that was my initial focus. And then over time, it became okay, in order to teach him, I need to learn.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it became, okay, I think I like this.
Mm-hmm.
When do you think that came? Was that early on? Did it take a little while? Because you've now been part of the program. It would be almost 15, 16,
16 years.
16 years, right? So was that something that came right away, that enjoyment?
I don't think, I mean, the running like crazy and getting my heart rate up and making my muscles sore was not something that made me feel joy initially. I'm not sure it ever will fill me completely with joy, but I recognize that it's good for me.
Mm.
Um, I definitely got into the pattern part of it. Um, my brain likes patterns in all kinds of aspects of my life, and this just seems to be another one where um, say feels good to me,
Yes.
and sort of understanding how it works and getting that ingrained in my brain. Um, and of course, working with Aiden,
Mhm.
it takes a lot longer for those things to set in his brain.
Mhm.
So lots more repetition. So I had ample opportunity to practice.
Yeah.
And I also had to make sure that I knew what I was doing so that I could be guiding him correctly. But yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly how long it took before I decided that Taekwondo was something for me too, but it would certainly happen within that first year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then, so you progressed very well, I have to say, out of all the years. I've noticed that this has become not just a skill, but it has also become a talent of yours and your family because of the work that you've put in.
Mhm.
I've noticed it's also become a family adventure for everyone, and I want to commend you because it's not easy to have a family of six, participate in a structured activity every week and commit to it. Rain or shine, snow, sleet. Um, you drive every week, and then not only that, you show up, and
I see some Lloyd. What's going on there for you?
It's easier actually to have them all do the same thing than to
Yeah.
have them all
Separately.
doing something
Yeah.
different.
Yes.
Because I mean, the reality is it's work to go with one.
Mhm.
It's not significantly more work to go with
Mhm.
all of them.
Yes.
And in fact, it's slightly easier because if they're all in one place, then you don't have to worry about who's staying with this kid. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's just Wednesday was Taekwondo. We will all eat supper. We will all go. And it was
We will
simple.
all do this together.
What kept you coming back year after year?
I mean, I'm at the point where if Aiden really decided he didn't want to come anymore, I would probably still keep coming. Just because it's good for me.
Mm.
Um, it's I spend my days at a computer, and I need something that is that gets me doing something physically active and something that pushes me. And this is a class that helps to do that. Um, and never been one for really team sport kind of things, but Taekwondo is a team sport in that you're surrounded by other people who are supporting you, but it's
Mm-hmm.
also an individual thing in that you are deciding what you were going to do and you are setting your own goals and you are pushing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that sort of ethos of or combination of things that really works well for me.
At
Uh,
what point did you decide I'm going to go for my black belt? At what point did you think I'm
Yeah.
going to be a black belt in this incredible martial art?
And even before that, if we, because you and
Mhm.
Aiden did this side by side.
Yep.
You and Aiden tested your belts together up until that red belt, black stripe. And so that was how many years? That was at least, if it goes white, yellow, green, blue, red, that was at least 4 or 5 years that you guys trained
Probably
side
closer to
by side.
7. Yeah.
And let's just say, like, that wasn't just you guys coming on Wednesday nights. You guys were also going home and practicing.
We had to.
You had to.
Yeah.
And so it really became part of your lifestyle.
Mhm.
And what did that look like? Was that an evening thing you guys would do together, or how did you make that work with Aiden?
It was more weekends because we had more time to do it then. Um, and it was just a
That's-
lot of repetition.
Mm-hmm.
And frustration.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's particularly for Aiden, holding on to stuff,
Mhm.
uh, doing one or two things.
Mhm.
You give him an instruction, he can do that, but holding on to a long set of things. I mean, poomsays are a lot of movements.
They're tough.
And particularly when it's not just hold on to one, but you need to also remember the others and not have them confused. And I mean, hard for most of us
Oh
to
yeah.
not confuse them in your head.
Totally.
And for him, it's even more challenging. So it was a lot of repetition.
Mhm. And maybe can we just share with the viewers that Aiden's diagnosis?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Aiden is autistic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, autism is a whole bunch of different things and looks different in every person. So for him, he's relatively social.
Mm-hmm.
So he likes talking with people. He doesn't talk a lot, but
Mhm.
he's comfortable talking.
Mhm.
He's comfortable with change, which is very helpful. Um, but he has limited executive function. So when it comes to decision making, um, you can't necessarily count on him to evaluate the situation and make good choices all of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not all of the time that's the challenge because he'll do it perfectly 90%, 95%.
Mm-hmm.
And then you assume that he's got it.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, one day he won't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, I mean, in terms of explaining things to him, um, he can certainly follow instruction. And when he has a routine, he knows what he needs to do. But sort of holding on to lots of continuous chains of things is hard for him.
I was gonna say, like, I'm just thinking about when I try teach my children how to learn a new skill or, teach them something new. I find that very difficult. Like my patience just like plummets down. And I'm like, I am so grateful that you have teachers at school and like instructors at swimming that are able to give you that. You were playing that role
Mhm.
for Aiden. And so I'm curious, like, what did that take from you? I just think the amount of like patience and resilience and ability to like make it a habit for you must have been challenging. I think that would be challenging. How did that go for you?
Um, yeah, I mean, there certainly were times that it was challenging.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we were, I was in the Taekwondo program for him.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's what it took, I mean, all aspects of life have required patience.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's food, whether it's toileting, doesn't matter what it is. Everything just took a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went through many, many years where he would eat grilled cheese and Cheerios and 3 or 4 other things and wouldn't touch anything else. And we were told, well, just keep exposing him, just keep exposing him. Now he eats
Mm.
absolutely everything. I mean,
He has quite the appetite.
Stay the
he
course.
has quite the appetite, but it's not just that he eats a lot, it's that there's very little you can put in front of him that he won't eat.
Ah.
Even things that, as a young adult, he wasn't a super fan of tomatoes,
Mhm.
but his brothers were eating them, and so he decided he was going to eat them too.
Mhm.
So exposure
Yeah,
works.
so exposure, not
Repetition.
always.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you just don't know what's going to happen and what's going to change. I mean, so Aiden has always struggled with math and numeracy. He has sort of pre-kindergarten math skills, but he has somebody who he's working with a couple times a week, and they decided to probe math for whatever reason. We had sort of given up on it because, I mean, we'd been working on it. Aiden is 27 now.
Mhm.
And it was just seemed like this was just one thing, those things that's never going to click. But he's now doing simple arithmetic,
Hmm.
and it's sort of okay. I did not see that coming. That you were going to start building kindergarten level math skills at 27 was not something I expected. I mean, we were thrilled that we had the toileting down, and some of the other things. I mean, so you don't know.
Yeah.
And so patience is part of it.
And it makes me think, I often use like plant the seeds, like just keep planting the seeds, keep watering the seeds, and that garden will grow. You might need to like redig
Or at
things
least,
up,
or at least parts of it will.
or at least parts of
Yeah,
it
I
will.
mean, you don't know what's going to happen
And when it's going to happen.
or if it's going to happen,
Or-
but you just you give the space, you give the opportunity, and you sort of have to make your peace with some things are going to happen and some things aren't, and we have to play it by ear.
And did you ever for 16 years? And so getting to John's, you are now a first Dan black belt, and we'll let you
So
and
I just
John
want to go
talk.
back to
Yeah.
that. So there hasn't been anyone as deserving to get their first Dan, because as a master, I'm allowed to promote anyone without a test, even 1 or 2 times, I think, according to the World Taekwondo Federation headquarters. I'm allowed to do that, but I also did it with a test. I'm always testing you. And that's the thing. I've noticed when you learn something, you learn it to the best of your ability, and you not only learn it, you're able to teach it, which I think goes back to how you train with Aiden. In order for you to, you're learning it because you have to teach it. And I think that alone, you deserved your first Dan many years ago before you were even a black belt, Lloyd.
Mhm.
So to qualify that, and I want to say now, as we're training, your kicks are higher. Your kicks are higher.
Whoa.
You're
Yeah, Lloyd.
you're a force,
Yeah.
truly, Lloyd. And I want to commend you on this, because a lot of families will stop after a certain period of time, because maybe they're done with the program, or their child has lost interest or what have you. And I just want to say that you show up and it's good for you. It's become part of who you are. So you are an instructor with the Young Masters Club, which is in reality you're a Taekwondo instructor,
Mhm.
which is fantastic, and a black belt.
John, what has this meant to you to watch Lloyd and Aiden and their family as they've journeyed through the program for 16 years?
What it's meant to me that you've joined the Young Masters Club, but more importantly, have stuck with it over the last 16 years. Your entire family, and Vicky as well, is the exemplary testament of family capacity building. And I think that
What do
is
you mean by that?
the
Kim?
whole family integrating meaningful occupation
Mm.
for the purpose of meaningful occupation. Not we're doing this so we get a belt. No.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you're going to get a belt eventually. Or we're doing this for self-control. Yes, of course. You're doing this for self-regulation, for fitness. And you're doing it because it's the thing that you do and you decide to do it as a family. So to me, that is meaningful occupation. It was something that your whole family subscribed to
Mhm.
and committed to, even if not every class was fun, right? It's hard work. So to me, that's an incredible testimony of how meaningful occupation can work for an entire family. And I know, like, I don't know how you did it as a family of 6. Um, and I also know that you mentioned earlier in this conversation, picking one activity would actually make it a little bit easier for everyone to participate. So I know there was a symbiotic relationship there. But for other families to see your whole family not only show up every year, but to thrive every single year.
Through the ups and downs,
Yes.
not because it's all been easy, but because you've chosen that when it's hard that you're going to commit and do it anyway because you know the impact it has on the whole family.
It inspired other families to also suit up and put their dough box on. So I'm so glad that you continued, even when it was annoying that first time, and your whole family committed to doing it together. Because of course it impacted Aiden in a positive way, and it also impacted all of the other children, and Sam and Jonah and Elijah. Whether they decide to continue on or they've moved on, I know how meaningful it was to them because they also thrived in it as well. But also the siblings of other young masters of people living with autism or other abilities. It was inspiring to them as well to think that we can do this as a family. And I think you were the pioneers. And I can also shout out, Vincent and Frank and Julia Liu and Chris
Jim.
and Jim Otto, and Luke Sir, like who really were the pioneers. But it's so meaningful to me now that you are. It's so crazy to me, and to think you're now an instructor. Actually, it's not that crazy for me to think about that. It makes sense and it's inspiring. But the epiphany is Wolfgang
Yeah.
Otto,
What a full circle.
the guy who told you about the Young Masters Club, is now our assistant instructor as well. I promoted him to third dan. And
So you
the
two are
of you-
instructing together.
Yeah, the two of you are part of the leadership team, right?
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Did you ever think that would happen?
I mean, I had no idea that he did Taekwondo.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a little bit of a surprise when he came into class for the first time. And I mean, that was many years after we had started that he came back. But yeah, I mean, to me, you can't progress unless you teach.
Mm.
Because to really learn something, to understand it properly, teaching it is part of that learning process. And I mean, that's not just a Taekwondo thing. All types of different aspects, whether you're doing apprenticeship and journeyman type training, or you're a doctor or whatever, most professions have teaching as a part of what they do, or at least people who are really good have that as part of what they do, because the teaching process helps you to better internalize what the heck it is that you're actually doing. And it also gives you the incentive to explore more and to better understand what it is that you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great point.
You were also a scout leader,
Mhm.
and you introduced me to some of your scouts earlier in the late, or I guess mid 2000s, or sorry, 2010s.
Yeah.
And I was really inspired by your leadership and Vicky's leadership as scouters. Is that the correct term when
Yep,
you're
scouter,
scouters?
yep.
And so, can you tell me about the principles of leadership that you've learned from both scouts and young masters that maybe can apply to anyone listening, whether they're a caregiver to children living with all abilities, or another therapist, or a teacher, or just a listener to our podcast?
Boy, yeah. So became involved with scouting about the same time we started with Key, actually,
Oh.
with Taekwondo. I showed up at a meeting at the Center for Autism. They were looking at starting a scouting group for people with autism, and I walked out a scouter. Um, because that's what happens.
Huh.
I had been a scout, beaver and a cub and a scout when I was little.
Hmm.
So it was a program I was familiar with. And so yeah, that I ended up on that pathway, and we started a uh, group in Edmonton for uh, folks with autism and siblings. Um, so that notion of we welcome neurotypical folks as well, to provide a model, but to provide support and to give the siblings something fun to do too.
Mhm.
It's sort of valuable both ways. And I mean, in scouting, the reason that we use the term scouter rather than leader is because we're not supposed to be leading.
Mm.
It's supposed to be the youth who are making decisions as much as possible and sort of setting the direction for where things are going. Um, and doesn't function quite the same way in Taekwondo, but there is that aspect of you have to be responsible for yourself, whether that's from the self control perspective, but also are you committing to go home and train? What is your personal goal? How are you going to get there? Um, all of that is putting responsibility on the person and having them decide what it is that they want, and then helping to sort of facilitate that. And as a scouter, you're trying to facilitate. Okay, you want to go on a camp, so what does that look like? What are we going to eat? Put together the menu. Okay, let's go shopping. Let's make it happen. Some of it's going to work, and some of it's not, and let's try to learn from what's working and what's not. Um, and with Taekwondo, it's okay. You want this particular belt? Look at the curriculum. What are you strong at? Let's see it. What are you struggling with? What do we need to work on? And again, it's responsibility in the end rests with the person who's doing.
Yeah. I think what's been coming up in my mind has been the tenets of Taekwondo. And I think when you were speaking about what it meant to you, John, and how your family has been an example to others on what can be possible, it made me think of how you guys are an example of those five tenets, and you in particular here, Lloyd, with the perseverance, you know, doing the thing even if it's hard, right? And not giving up and showing up. And then the self-control it takes to practice and to be resilient and show up every week and make it part of your lifestyle. And the indomitable spirit that it takes, right? That keeping that attitude. What's the perseverance, self-control, indomitable courtesy, the kindness that you show and you demonstrate as a scouter, as a leader, as an instructor. And what's our last one?
Integrity.
Integrity.
I'm gonna tell an example of how you've reminded me about integrity.
Yeah.
I remember AMI Accessible Media
Mm.
did an episode, and I was gearing up for the episode the week before. They wanted to come and do a Young Masters feature, and I was telling the class at the community league, and you were there, Lloyd, and I wanted everyone to behave as best as they could. And I said, okay, everyone line up this way. And you said, Master R, if you'll excuse me. I said, yes, yes. And he said, integrity, right? And I'm like, yeah, integrity. It's like, we don't do this every week. And I said, what do you mean? Like, well, we don't always line up this way, or we don't always behave this way. And I'm like, oh, man, you're right. You're right. And I said, thank you. Thank you. You're right. And then I still wanted some kind of control, right? But I'm like, you're right. So I was so
Just
worried.
be us.
What's that?
Let's just be us.
Yeah.
Mm.
I was so worried about how it was gonna go, right? Because I've been involved with film and TV, and I know that they always want different shots, and I'm like, don't try and be the producer or the director, just be Master R, and let's all be us. And
Mhm.
Jackie and Ali and yourself and Aiden, Deanna, I'm not sure if you were there.
was
Maybe
there.
Mike, yeah, you
Yeah.
were there. Mike, were you there at that Accessible Media?
Maybe not.
Maybe
Don't know if I
before,
was.
before a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
before,
Yeah.
and it was one of the best experiences I thought on film.
Well, that's what makes Young Masters, I think, what it is that we all come in as ourselves, committed to a goal, but committed more so to just being together and learning together, right? And then ultimately, thriving together. Lloyd, what has Young Masters Club meant not only, well, to your family, but to you as you kind of reflect on those 16 years?
Mm. I mean, for me, it's added a completely new component to my life.
Mm.
Um, because physical activity was never really part of what I did. And it now is.
Mhm.
And I mean, this is something that I can continue to do in my 80s and 90s. Um, the height of my kick will hopefully continue to go up for a while. It may eventually start to decline some, but it's something I can continue to do. And I mean, anything that you do with your family is a good thing. Doesn't matter what it is. If you can find something that your family takes joy in and that you can do together, that just builds memories, and that's an awesome thing.
Mm.
And I mean, we're not all doing Taekwondo anymore.
Mhm.
It's now dropped to just Aiden and myself. Vicky found some other things that she prefers, and
Mhm.
as per usual, as you have children who become teens, they have other things that become more important to them, and that's okay.
Mhm.
Um,
They've come to cheer you on, though.
Oh,
Man,
yeah.
was it ever cool to see Samuel and Jonah at this last festival as young men,
Yep.
and they're cheering you and Aiden on. That
Yep.
was so cool.
And I mean, this is the kind of thing where it's okay if you step away from it for a few years or a few decades. And I mean, we have folks in the program that did do Taekwondo when they were younger and came back to it.
Yes.
And so once you have some aspect of it, it's always there.
Mhm.
And it's sort of just, when does it become important to you, or does it become important to you again?
That makes me think of me, Lloyd, because you and I were side by side for our I think our yellow belts. I think for all of it, yellow, green,
Mhm.
blue, red. We were side by side as well. Oh, I kind of forgot about that. So we did that together, and then I stopped. So it's been well, I didn't stop. I mean, that's not true. But I stopped testing for more belts.
Being a mom doesn't take any time.
I did bring our kids. I
You
do bring
did.
our kids
You
every
do.
week. So I will say that I
Yes.
bring our kids mostly every week since I gave birth to them.
Yep.
What I meant is that I did stop testing.
Yep.
And I've stopped kind of like progressing in the Poomsae. So I'm still at my red belt. And so it's been about 8 years that I've had my red belt.
Yep.
One day it may click and I may go for my black belt. So just to your point, I mean, it's not gone. It's
Yep.
still there, and it's sort of, the right time. It might click again. Thank you
Absolutely.
for that reminder. Yeah.
Well, and something that I also have noticed is that's actually something where you've been back in class, but you've actually been helping Aiden again
Yeah, a
with
little bit.
instructing with the
Yeah.
white belts.
Yeah.
And that's because that's been with his goals towards his blue
Yeah.
dobok. So there, it's kind of interesting how things do come full circle. And yeah. With your kicks, I'll just say this. Give yourself grace, because like when we went to the actual competition and there were some of those black belts who were actually like doing like, not as high kicks. And for myself, who struggles also with my like leg abduction, you got to give yourself grace.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at myself. It's important to have goals.
Yes.
And I mean, in terms of knowing the movements, I won't say that I am perfect, but I'm pretty solid now with the parts that I still want to improve on. I'm continuing to improve on. Because I mean, that's the other nice thing about Taekwondo, is that it's not, okay, I'm done that. It's, there's always things that you can do to improve in terms of polish, in terms of control, in terms of grace, in terms of whatever. And so, I mean, it's an art. It's not just a sport, and that makes it more fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Deanna, when you were part of the Young Masters, what was your goal for participating in it? And what did you think of for yourself, but also for let's say in the context of the McKenzies, your experience, your memories of participating during that time?
Okay, yeah. So my entrance to Young Master Club was 2015, where my only goal was to complete my practicum hours.
It was a requirement I gave you.
But I think if I can think of previous childhood experiences with a martial arts program, like probably YMCA kind of stuff. And it just seemed like, boom, boom, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. And you got to keep up. And if you can't keep up, well, maybe this isn't a good fit for you. And then I come to YMC, everyone's crisscross applesauce in a circle. And we got the chi chime. We got the chi chimes. Everyone's breathing. And I think,
Chi breath.
oh. And then, all just, there was a difference in energy and attention that I think the other programs are just like, we got patterns, strike, sprint, no chi breath, just
go.
No adjustment for different sensory capacities and strengths and so on. And yeah, I really grew to like that. And even seeing, like parents who might be maybe the first week, they're just on the bench on their phone watching. And then maybe a few weeks later, they're running with me. And I wish there were more programs that integrated the whole family, because like if you've got, it can be, I don't want to be too hyperbolic, but a logistical nightmare sometimes to get like, somebody wants to do this one and someone wants to do this one. And just having that be that family-friendly place where those things don't really matter. Yeah. Or if somebody does need to have like a sensory chill out for a bit, that's okay. And there's just not enough spaces where that is possible and allowed. And so I love the championing of inclusivity with YMC. And then of course, like the not seeing also those like neurotypical siblings, what have you, that also get to participate along. That's huge.
Yeah.
Because I think historically I've seen it be a lot more sequestered and maybe not allow that, or do allow that, but with like more hefty this and that. I don't know. So it was so great to see like siblings start as volunteers and then, I'm going to participate in earnest, and then they will be fully into it. And
I love that. We have gotten to see a lot of that, the siblings join in the program together. And yes, sometimes one might stop for a bit and come back, but to see them on that journey in different ways, or the mom, the dad, or whoever, the caregiver, the nana, who we had Linda
Uh-huh.
Mills on our podcast, and she spoke about her connection to Young Masters Club, and she would bring her foster children and her adopted son, and she's in her 70s and still participating, Lloyd. So there we go, right? Yeah, it's incredible. Lloyd, this has I saw the lips. I'm a
I mean, one of the things with Taekwondo is that you can have people side by side
Mhm.
doing different things at different levels.
Yes.
So it's much easier. I mean, if you have a kid who's into baseball and you have a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old and a 12-year-old, you can't really all bring them and have them all play together. It does
Huh.
not work.
Yes.
That's right.
What a great example.
Whereas with this, it's totally fine.
Mhm.
Because first of all, it's not like, well, the 6-year-old is at this belt level and the 12-year-olds are at this belt level. Everyone's at the level that they're at,
Mhm.
and they progress as it
Mhm.
makes sense.
Mhm.
And they're all building similar skills.
Mhm.
So even if they're at different belt levels, they can still practice at least part of it together.
Yes.
And when they engage, I mean, my kids did not come to Taekwondo because Aiden was there. They came to Taekwondo because they got dragged on to at least some of them because parental requirements said that, well, mom's doing something tonight, so you're all coming.
Yeah.
You can go sit there
Mhm.
while Aiden and I do this. And then it was, I want to do that too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so they it's not you're pushing them and saying you need to.
Yes.
It's they come because they want to.
Well, they saw the example, especially like you're such a powerful example, Lloyd. I'm not sure if you realize the impact of the example you have. I know we've spoken to it, but the many layers of exemplary action that you have on so many levels, like on the community, for the program, for the members, for your son, for your children, for your family, and then for yourself. You are an example of those 5 tenets, which I think are such beautiful tenets: the courtesy, the perseverance, indomitable spirit, self-control, courtesy,
Integrity.
integrity.
Take.
Thank you, John.
Said
That's your,
courtesy.
yeah, that's yours. You exemplify those in such a great way. And it's been such an honor to see you on this journey, to be part of it with you, and to continue to see you grow. What's next? What's next? You kind of alluded to maybe a second Dan. What are you
yeah.
and John? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that will come.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm continuing to work on making sure that I have the first Dan curriculum solid.
Mhm.
And in terms of actual Taekwondo Federation expectations. And yeah, I would be honored at some point to go for my second Dan with you. And I mean, I'm not there because I want belts. I'm there because I want to continue to grow. And the belts are just a signpost, or occasionally just this is your stretch this year. It's that you're working towards this thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes that thing is something you work on your waist. Sometimes it's just I did that move. And it doesn't really matter what it is, so long as you have something that you're working towards that feels meaningful to you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, so long as you continue to have a place for me to continue to show up, I will happily do that.
There will be a place for you, Lloyd. You and Aiden and your whole family. You are a testimony of our program. You serve selflessly. You teach. You care, and you give the space and time for everyone to be themselves. Whether you're working with a white belt or an adult blue belt who has also put in the work, and you continuously show up. So I just want you to know you always have space with us here at the Young Masters Club with Key Creative.
Yeah. Into your 80s, into your 90s. You heard it here.
Yeah. And I just want to say on behalf of all of our young masters and all of our instructors, past, present, future, Lloyd, you embody courtesy, you embody integrity, you embody perseverance, you embody self-control, you embody indomitable spirit, and you instill that in everyone. And it doesn't mean you're perfect on all of those, but what it does mean to me is that you focus your training around those 5 tenets, and that's what I've always wanted in young masters. That's ultimately what I've wanted, and what my grandmasters have taught me. It's really about those character tenets. The body stuff will change as but you embody all of those, and you are a gift to our world. Truly are. Your whole family. So thank you.
Yes, thank you, Lloyd. We appreciate you coming on and talking with us.
I do have one more question.
Okay, John.
What the
Yes.
question is, if you were to give yourself advice going into that first class, before you knew what the class was about, what advice would you give Lloyd in 2010, showing up with a laptop?
Or it could be facetious and say, leave the laptop at home. That it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Amazing, surprising, beautiful, and powerful.
I had no idea what it was in store for us.
So happy that you chose and continue to choose the Young Masters Club. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Lloyd. So to finish it off, we're gonna whoosh it out.
You know the whoosh?
You know the whoosh. Maybe
I
not.
don't know that we've done it.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe not.
That's
So
okay.
Mike, you want to?
Potatoes, fries, potatoes. Or as I
Okay.
like to call it, a heartbeat all in sync.
Okay, so potatoes, fries, potatoes.
But don't forget the sound effect.
Oh.
You gotta go
The sound effect.
woo, and then breathe in.
Whoa.
All right,
Okay, ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Whoosh. Thank you, Lloyd.
Awesome.
Thank you, Deanna. Thank you, Mike.
Key Talks is a project of Key Creative. Our co-hosts are Paula Audrey Rivero and Deanna Halls. Our production team is Michael Schwake, Jessa Dupuis, and Deanna Halls. Music by John Rivero. To reach out to us or access services for you or your family, visit keycreative.com. That's QICreative.com and fill out our online intake form. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.